I just cannot believe it. Miss Suresh cannot be guilty of murder since there is no way Mr. Suresh could kill someone. Which fallacy? So, begging the question. Slippery slope, ad hominem equivocation. Now, according to a classical Indian school of logic, knowledge resulting from prior knowledge of invariable concomitance between two objects is called anuman. Knowledge resulting from the prior knowledge of invariable concomitance between two objects is anuman. According to classical Indian school of logic, knowledge resulting from a prior knowledge of invariable concomitance between two objects is called anuman. Anuman in Sanskrit term that refers to inference or reasoning. In the classical Indian school of logic, anuman is considered one of the three valid means of knowledge: praman, along with perception, pratyaksh, and verbal testimony, that is shabd. Anuman is based on the principle of invariable concomitance, that is vyapti, which means that if two objects are invariably concomitant, then the presence or absence of one can be inferred from the presence or absence of the other. For example, if we know that fire is invariably concomitant with smoke, we can infer that where there is smoke, there must be fire. This is an example of anuman, where the knowledge of the presence of smoke leads to the knowledge of the presence of fire based on the prior knowledge of invariable concomitance. Arthapatti is the means of knowledge that is used to explain something that cannot be explained by direct perception, inference, or testimony. Basically, Arthapatti is like anuman must be true, and arthapatti may be false or not. It may be correct. That's not a surety. Like राम मोटा हो रहा है तो वो खा के मोटा हो रहा है, ये is not a surety. ठीक है? In the form of presumption or postulation that is based on the idea that there must be some reason or cause for something that is otherwise inexplicable. A form of presumption or postulation that is based on the idea that there must be some reason or cause for something that is otherwise inexplicable. For example, if we see a man carrying an umbrella on a sunny day, we can presume that he is doing so because he expects it to rain. Now, Upaman is a means of knowledge that is based on analogical reasoning or comparison. It involves using knowledge of the object to gain a knowledge of another object that is similar to it, like broccoli and patta gobi. And I'm not patta gobi nahi, gobi, phool gobi. For example, if we know that a lion is powerful, we can infer that a tiger, which is similar to a lion, must also be powerful. Anuplabdhi is the means of knowledge that arises from the non-existence of absence of something. For example, if we see that a particular tree is not present in the forest, we can infer that it does not exist in the forest. In the contrast to above, anuman is a means of knowledge that is based on the principle of invariable concomitance, which involves inferring the presence or absence of one thing based on the presence or absence of another thing that is invariably concomitant with it. Now, a computer is used to store photographs and videos. The average size of each photograph is 8 MB, and the average size of each video is 400 MB. How much memory in gigabytes is needed to store 800 photographs and 80 videos? 1 KB equals 1024 bytes. So that's 3750 GBs. The total memory required to store 800 photographs. 800 photographs multiplied by 8 MB per photograph equals 6400 MBs. The total memory required to store 800 photographs is 6400 MB. The total memory required to store 80 videos equals 32,000 MB. Adding the memory required for photograph and videos, we need 6400 plus 32,000 MBs, that is 38,400 MBs. Converting MB to GB divided by 1024, so approximately 37.5 GB. Now, fuck. John von Neumann. John von Neumann developed the idea of stored program computer. The idea of stored program computer was developed by John von Neumann in about 1945. That is 2 years prior the independence of India. John von Neumann developed the idea of stored program computer. Von Neumann was a Hungarian-American mathematician and physicist who made fundamental contributions to a number of fields, including game theory, quantum mechanics, and computer science. He was instrumental in the development of the modern computer, and the concept of a stored program computer is often referred to as the von Neumann architecture. Von Neumann architecture is based on the idea of storing both data and instructions in the same memory. This is in contrast to earlier computers, which required programs to be manually wired into the computer. The stored program concept allows for greater flexibility in programming and made it possible for computers to be programmed to perform a wide range of tasks. Von Neumann's work on the stored program computer laid the foundation for the development of modern computers and is considered to be a major milestone in the history of computing. Now, which of the following communication systems provides a means of sharing and collaboration by allowing a group of people to enter, modify, and contribute one or more pages of the related text? That's Wiki. Now, EEPROM stands for Electronically Extensible Programmable Read-Only Memory. That's not correct. RAM is much faster to write or read from other types of memory, but its main drawback is its non-volatility. That is also incorrect. EEPROM stands for Electrically Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory, a type of non-volatile memory that can be programmed, erased, and reprogrammed electronically, often used in microcontrollers and other embedded systems, as well as some consumer electronic devices. RAM, the second statement, RAM is much faster to write or read from the other types of memory, but its main drawback is its non-volatility. RAM, this statement is incorrect, just like the first one. Is electronic EEPROM is electrically erasable, programmable, read-only memory. Now, coming back to this point, the second one, RAM stands for random access memory, which is a type of volatile memory that can be both read from and written to quickly. Its main drawback is that it is volatile, meaning that it loses its content when power is removed. Non-volatile memory, on the other hand, retains its content even when the power is removed. Examples of non-volatile memory include ROM, that is read-only memory, flash memory, and EEPROM. Now, which of the following statements about email address spoofing are true? So B and C. Email address spoofing is used for hacking, and email address spoofing is a forgery of an email header or sender information. It is incorrect to say that email spoofing is email address is sending joke email to other staff, and email address spoofing is copying an email to other staff. That is also incorrect. Email address spoofing is a technique used by spammers and hackers to send emails that appear to be from a legitimate source but are actually from a fake email address. Now, which of the following are waterborne bacterial disease? A, C, and E. Cholera, typhoid, and dysentery. These are waterborne diseases. Hepatitis is not a waterborne disease, and Schistosomiasis is not a waterborne disease, bacterial disease, not a waterborne bacterial disease, just like hepatitis. But cholera, typhoid, and dysentery are waterborne diseases. Now, beneath the surface horizons, the subsoil usually have a lower organic content and higher concentration of mineral particles. That is correct. And subsoil is generally made up of weathered rock fragments. That is also correct. So key points: assertion, beneath the surface horizons, the subsoil usually have a lower organic content and higher concentration of mineral particles. Assertion A states that subsoil which is located beneath the surface horizons usually has a lower organic content and higher concentration of mineral particles. This is correct statement because the subsoil is formed by weathering and breakdown of rocks over time, and the organic matter from plants and animals tends to be concentrated in the upper layers of the soil, not beneath the surface horizons. That is not in the subsoil. And reason, subsoil is generally made up of weathered rock fragments. Reason R is correct statement because subsoil is formed by weathering and breakdown of rocks over time. The parent material, which is the underlying bedrock, undergoes physical and chemical weathering due to various environmental factors such as wind, water, temperature changes, and biological activity. As a result of weathering, the rocks break down into smaller particles and minerals which make up the subsoil. Therefore, it is true that subsoil is generally made up of weathered rock fragments. Now, which of the following is a secondary aerosol? That's sulfate particles. Not sea salt, not mineral particles, not black carbon, but sulfate particles are secondary aerosols. Sulfate particles are considered as secondary aerosols because they are formed from the oxidation of sulfur dioxide, that is SO2. Sulfur dioxide released by natural and human activities and the subsequent formation of sulfuric acid. The sulfuric acid can condense on pre-existing particles to form new particles or combine with other gases to form new particles directly. Therefore, sulfate particles are formed indirectly from the primary emission of SO2, making them a secondary aerosol. Black carbon contributes to climate warming. Mineral particles affect atmospheric chemistry. So black carbon contributes to climate warming. Black carbon. Mineral particles affect atmospheric chemistry. Mineral particles affect atmospheric chemistry, and sea salt has a role in cloud formation. Sea salt contributes to cloud formation. Cloud formation and precipitation. Sea salt. Now, hazardous waste is liquid or solid that contains substances known to be toxic, carcinogenic, and mutagenic to humans. Hazardous waste is liquid or solid which contains substances that are toxic, carcinogenic, and mutagenic to humans, ignitable even at temperature less than 60 degrees, and corrosive in nature. They are not fatal to humans or animals only at higher doses. They are not non-reactive. The hazardous wastes. They are corrosive. They are ignitable at temperatures less than 60 degrees, and they are toxic, carcinogenic, and mutagenic to humans. An eutrophic lake. It is rich in nutrients. It has high algal blooms. It is incorrect about eutrophic lake that it is poor in organic matters, that it is not rich in dissolved oxygen. Okay, so it is not dissolved. It is not rich in dissolved oxygen, and eutrophic lake is not rich in dissolved oxygen. So it does not have an eutrophic lake does not have dissolved oxygen, that is O2. in it. No O2. Now, in the context of higher education, new National Education Policy 2020 has emphasized the need for internationalization. Internationalization. It has not focused on discipline-specific regulators, free education, fragmentation, but internationalization. NEP 2020. Now, which of the following are major characteristics of good governance? Major characteristics of good governance, that it is consensus oriented. Good governance is consensus oriented, and it is accountable, and it is inclusive, not autocratic, not opaque. Requires consultation and participation of all stakeholders to ensure that their views are taken into account. Building consensus in society around policies and strategies that promote the well-being of all citizens. Accountable. Requires transparency, openness, and the rule of law. Involves holding public officials and institutions accountable for their actions and decisions. Opaque. Opaque government means that decision-making process is not transparent. Inclusive. Good governance requires the participation of all citizens regardless of their social economic status and decision making. Autocratic. Autocratic governance is the opposite of good governance. Now, some important recommendations of Kothari Commission were A, D, and E. A, D, and E. So, establishment of clusters of advanced centers in major universities, establishment of 6 major universities, and improving the quality and content of lecturing. It did not talk about abolition of the state system of the affiliate colleges. It did not even talk about the abolition of continuous evaluation system. Establishment of clusters of advanced centers in major universities to promote excellence in teaching and research. Abolition of system of affiliate colleges to strengthen the standards of higher education. System of affiliate colleges. A, D, and E only. It did not talk about the abolition of system of affiliate colleges, right? Kothari Commission, officially known as the Education Commission 1964 to 66. Commission recommended establishment of clusters of advanced centers of major universities to promote research and creation of national laboratories. The Commission recommended the introduction of common school system that would provide free and compulsory education to all children up to the age of 14. Now, during the Vedic period, the higher level of education had specialized curriculum. During the Vedic period, the higher level of education had specialized curriculum. The education system during this period was known as Gurukul system. It was the student in which the students lived with their teachers, known as gurus, in an ashram or hermitage-like setting. Students received education in various fields. The education was not only restricted to theoretical knowledge but also included practical training in agriculture, crafts, and warfare. Education system was primarily meant to the upper caste or elite classes. The specialized curriculum helped in the overall development of the students, making them experts in their field of study. Now, which among the following is or are not a criteria for quality assessment followed by NAC, that is, National Assessment and Accreditation Council? So, are not, the rest are. So teaching, learning, and evaluation is a criteria for quality assessment by NAC. Teaching, learning, and evaluation, consultancy and extension, infrastructure and learning resources, recruitment of teaching professionals, and governance and leadership. So recruitment of teaching professionals is not one of the quality assessment criteria followed by NAC. Right, governance and leadership is indeed one of the criteria for quality assessment by NAC, governance and leadership. So accreditation. NAAC NAC assesses and accredits institutions of higher education based on their performance in various categories. Assessment process involves a comprehensive evaluation of institutions, academic programs, faculty, research faculties. Institutions are awarded a grade based on their performance, ranging from A++, highest, to C, that is the lowest. The quality assessment criteria, and NAC has developed a set of quality assessment criteria to evaluate the performance of institutions. These include teaching, learning, evaluation, and infrastructure, learning resources, consultancy, and extension. And NAC also considers the consultation and extension services provided by the institutions, which involve application of knowledge and skills to solve problems and meet the needs of the society. Accreditation cycle, accreditation benefits. The accreditation cycle of an institution is typically 5 years, after which the institution must undergo re-accreditation. Self-study report. Institutions seeking accreditation must submit a self-study report (SSR) that provides a comprehensive overview of their performance in various categories. The SSR is evaluated by a peer team of experts appointed by NAC.